So we've got some incredibly beautiful fall off the bone lamb there, slow cooked. But this dish is really all about the rice. It's sticky and it's got incredible flavor. That is delicious. Wow. Welcome back to How to Cook Great. So I've got 3 dried red chilies there, 2 teaspoons coriander seeds, 2 teaspoons cumin seeds, 2 teaspoons black peppercorns, 1 teaspoon cloves, they're just there, 2 teaspoons fennel seeds, which I really love in that, slightly unusual, but I think really work, a little bit of cinnamon stick, and then here I've got 2 teaspoons of salt, thyme, and turmeric. What we're gonna do is we're gonna get these 2 guys into a dry pan, roast them in a dry pan, then we're gonna grind them all up with that. So just a small little pan there, we're gonna drop all our whole seeds in, and we're gonna put that on. And what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna roast that around till you get a little bit of smoke from it. So medium heat, probably just take about 2 minutes. So the pan is just starting to smoke and you're getting a few pops and crackles. Job done, off that comes. That is absolutely fantastic. Right, we're gonna cool that down just a little bit, then we're gonna grind it up with the other spices that we just saw. Okay, so look, there's the roasted spices that we had. Now, just a couple of things. I put my green cardamoms, I'm not gonna put that amount in, but green cardamoms in whole a bit later on, as this as well. This is a dried black lemon or lime. I put that in later on whole. If you can't get this, a lot of you won't be able to get this, you can maybe get it powdered. It might be easy for you to get it in a powdered form like that, but I'm gonna put my one in whole. And again, if you've got green cardamom powder, you could be putting it right here with the turmeric and the salt and the thyme, and then we're gonna add it in. I hope that makes sense. It sounded a bit complicated. Right, we're gonna grind this up and then we're gonna put that into that. Okay, and there you go, so that's ground up. Beautiful stuff that is. I mean, really, I wish you could smell it. Oh wow, lovely fresh masala powder. Okay, so we've got our powder done. Let's take a look at our meat. I've got this lamb here. I've got about 3 pounds, like 1.5 kg of lamb. Nice kind of fairly chunky cut. There's some bone in there, mostly meat. Very good stuff, I love it. So I've got a large pan here, or pot. In there I've got about 3 or 4 tablespoons of oil. I'm using olive oil, you can use a different one if you want. Green cardamom and thyme, so we've got 6 just there. And then we're gonna add in our meat. Like I say, nice and chunky cut. Mostly leg here. I actually bought a leg and a shoulder and they cut it and mixed it together, but this is mostly the leg part. And medium heat, we're gonna go for about 4 or 5 minutes. I just wanna get a little bit of color onto it. So we're just getting a little bit of color on the outside of our meat. We're gonna start to add some other ingredients. Would you pass me the, thank you. So it's now time for our black lemon or lime, and what you can do is just puncture it a little bit, just to release the flavor. So 1 of them in there is plenty. Then we need onions, 2 cups of onion, garlic, tablespoon of chopped garlic. Let's give that a little mix. And let's just cook this for about 4 minutes, again on a medium heat, and then we're gonna start getting our powder in there and really bring it together. Fabulous stuff. So fabulous stuff. Next up, we're gonna add some tomatoes, 3 cups of chopped tomatoes. In they go. And to that is when we're gonna now add our beautiful fresh masala. Medium heat, we're gonna go now for about 7 to 8 minutes. We're gonna be stirring often. We might get a bit of moisture from the tomatoes, but let's see. So that's looking absolutely fabulous. You can see the tomatoes are breaking down nicely. Next up, we're gonna add some liquid. Now I'm using a stock, I'm using chicken stock. You can use a meat stock or just water if you want. There's 5 cups there. What we're gonna do is we're gonna lower the heat down, not to a simmer, but just above a simmer. Lid on. We're going to let that go for 20-30 minutes. I've got here 3 cups of basmati rice, which I've washed through a couple of times, 2 or 3 times. Now, always try and buy the most expensive basmati rice you can. There's lots and lots of different grades of rice, and you can really taste the difference of it. So always try and buy a decent quality. This is called India Gate. I'm not endorsing it, but it is quite expensive and it's quite good. Try that, but yeah, just try and get a more premium rice. You will see the difference. That's looking absolutely wonderful. What I'm going to do now is put in 135 grams, or about half a cup, of tomato paste. Now I'm using a really nice quality lamb here, so it's going to cook quite quickly. You may need to kind of go a bit longer if you've got a bit more of a mutton type thing. You can see the bones are showing here and everything's looking really good. We're going to go for another 10 minutes. Okay, I'm going to turn off the heat for the moment. Off comes the lid. Get some steam out of there. Now this meat, for me, is cooked nicely. You can't really overcook it. You can keep going, but make sure it's nice and tender before you proceed. What we're going to do now is we're going to take the meat out and set it to one side, and we're going to be cooking our rice in all of this absolute wonderful goodness. So let me get this out, and then I'll be back. So we've got incredible flavors happening right there. What we're going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit of fresh chili, 4 little pieces of fresh chili going. I'm going to add half a cup of cilantro or coriander, whatever you call that. We're going to get our 3 cups of rice and drop that all in, which like I say, I've rinsed that through a couple of times. We're going to stir that in. And I'm going to add a little bit of water to this. Now this rice usually comes out very kind of sticky because of all of this sauce that we're cooking it in. So just some plain water. Basically when I cook rice, I usually go, if I've got 1 cup of rice, I'll put 2 cups of water. So whatever rice you have, double the water. Okay, on goes the heat. That's going to take about 8 or 9 minutes. Lid back on. So just taking the lid off, we've got some lovely rice here. It is kind of sticky like this, but it's the most flavoursome stuff you've ever tasted. It really is. I mean, just delicious. Now what we're going to do, we're going to get our meat and put it back on the top. Now some people would roast this meat now, put it in the oven for a little bit, or fry it in a pan or something. I'm just going to put it back on, put the lid on, and let it sit for a few minutes just to warm through again. I'm already chewing away on a piece of this meat, which is absolutely delicious. Fall off the bone, beautiful lamb. But it's all about the rice for me. That rice is the most delicious thing ever. I hope you enjoy that. Excuse me for talking with my mouth full. I'll see you soon. Lots of love. Thanks a lot for getting to the end of the video. If you'd like to give me a thumbs up, that does help us out quite a lot with the algorithm and such like. Subscribe if you like, you'll get notified about what we're doing. There's a thanks button if you want to donate. See you soon.